All right, so the next lesson we're going to talk about is 10.7, which talks about inscribed and circumscribed polygons. So a polygon is inscribed in a circle if all of its vertices lie on the circle. So in the word itself, you sort of see the word in. So you know that it has to be inside of the actual circle itself. And the most important part is every single vertice of that actual shape has to fall on the circle. Not inside, not outside, it has to be directly on the circle. So if triangle ABC is considered to be inscribed in circle O, then A, B, and C all need to be points on the circle itself. The flip of that is if a polygon is circumscribed about, that means that the polygon is on the outside and that every single side is tangent to the circle. So we've learned numerous theorems regarding tangents so far, but the one that's important is to note that anything that starts from the same external point that is tangent to the circle, those segments are congruent to each other. So that is definitely something that's going to be used tonight on one of the homework problems. All right. It says the center of a circle circumscribed about a polygon is the circumcenter. So there's specific vocabulary that's associated with it. Now, if we read the wording of this, though, you have to ask yourself, does that actually, just because I see the word circumscribed about, does that give off the same picture that the definition did right above? So it says the center of a circle, the circle is circumscribed about a polygon. So if the circle is circumscribed about, that means that the circle has to be on the outside of the actual figure itself, and then it doesn't matter what the polygon is. Let's just say I put 4 sides. Then that means that the polygon is inscribed inside of the circle itself, and that point in the middle would be called the circumcenter. So you have to be very careful in regards to how it is worded. The center of a circle that is inscribed in a circle, so now the circle is inscribed, it is inside of the actual polygon itself. That center point would be considered to be an incenter. So just make sure when you get the questions, if they ever reference circumscribed about or inscribed, make sure that you're paying attention to the order that it's given in. So first theorem, Theorem 93, says if a quadrilateral is inscribed in a circle, so first of all, they have to tell you it's a quadrilateral or it has to have 4 sides. And if it's inscribed, by definition, you know that each and every one of the vertices has to fall on the circle itself. If that is the case, then you know that the opposite angles are supplementary. So A and C and B and D would be supplementary, which means they would add up to 180 degrees. Next theorem, Theorem 94, gets a little bit more specific. Instead of now being a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle, it says if a parallelogram is inscribed in a circle. So if a parallelogram is inscribed in a circle and you're told it's a parallelogram, then you can also assume that it has to be actually a rectangle. All right, first example is proofs. I'm probably going to stop here with this video and then I'll make a new video on the other 3 examples. As you work your way through, though, best advice is to write the problem down and see if you can do it yourself, especially with the new material, given that we are distance learning. I would just take into it, it's probably indefinitely at this point for the remainder of the school year. All right, so we have given that we have a quadrilateral ABCD is inscribed in circle O. So that means each and every one of the vertices is in the circle. And the vertices are on, not in the circle, sorry, the vertices are on the circle itself. It's circle O, so we know O is the center of the circle, and we're trying to prove that angle B and ADE are congruent. So I didn't write the given, obviously you need to make sure that you would do that. But first thing we can say is if we know that we have a quadrilateral inscribed, we know opposite angles are supplementary to each other. So we know angle B and angle D, or ADC, are supplementary because they're opposite angles, using the Theorem 93 from the other page. Other thing we know is CDE is a straight angle. We can assume that. One thing we do have to add in here is we have to add the fact that we know that angle CDE equals 180 by definition of a straight angle. Then if we know that we have a definition of a straight angle, we know we have supplementary angles by definition of supplementary. And this technically should have 3 letters, so we'll call it ABC. Angle ABC is then congruent to ADE because if 2 angles